Okay, next we'll talk about investment budgets. Yeah. Um, this is not to tell you that how like this is not to tell you how much you should spend. I mean, it depends on yourself as well. But this is basically to break down the type of inquiries that we have gotten from our Malaysian clients. Yeah, and as you can see here, I broke it down to 4 different categories. It doesn't mean that the most expensive property in Melbourne costs $1.2 million. Of course, there are a lot more higher than these ones, but these are just the popular segments. So I'd like to discuss a little bit about investment budgets, because investment budget is probably one of the most important criteria in ensuring that you will buy something that suits your requirement the best. So at the bottom, where most people say, hey Jolene, I'm looking at something, within 400,000 or 500,000 up to 600, and then we have a second tier up to 750 and 850, and then 1 to 1.2 million dollars. So sometimes we know that when we ask you, oh, what's your budget? We may not really know exactly how much you plan to spend, because even you yourself may not really know how much you should spend because you're not familiar. So that's why we're going to talk about what you can get within this budget. Yeah, I will start off with showing you a scenario. Let's say you call one of us and say, hey, I've got about $450,000. I prefer to buy a house, for my child who's going to study in Melbourne Uni. Our first recommendation to you is get a 1-bedroom apartment within 30 minutes of travel to Melbourne Uni. Reason is, in that price range at 450,000, you can buy a house, but this house will be so far outside from Melbourne Uni. It probably takes up 2 to 3 hours of traveling time to and fro for your child to go to university. So it doesn't make sense for you to get a house. However, maybe you didn't tell us that you could actually afford up to 550, 580. That changed the whole scenario. At that price level, you could get a smaller 2-bedroom apartment. Smaller means 2 bed, 1 bath. Yeah, around still within good areas, like within 30 minutes of travel to Melbourne Uni. And you could even get a 2-bedroom townhouse maybe within 40 minutes travel within the north and the western side of Melbourne. And then if you say, actually I could afford up to 750, that opens up a whole range of other things that you can invest in. Yeah, you can look at larger 2-bedroom apartment in good location, or even a 2-bedroom townhouse in better suburbs. So this is just to give you an example. We get a lot of people who probably doesn't know to say, what can I buy? Can I buy a $300,000 properties because I saw it advertised somewhere in KL? Look, you probably could find something at that price, $300,000, but I would probably say it's maybe between 50 to 80 kilometers away, where there's no amenities, no train station. I mean, Shelby will share a bit more on this, but why would you want to do that? Yeah. So safe number around $500,000 entry level to get into something, whether it's buying for your kid to stay, buy for yourself, or buying as an investment. Again, our recommendation is basically is purely based on what our scenario was that you can see on the screen. And I stress, establishing a budget is very, very important in getting the best that you can afford.